If you read the title of this video and you thought that I relapsed, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, you should know better by this point than to think that I would relapse on NoFap, especially when I'm about to break my longest streak. The reason why I'm making this video is because this is probably one of the most common dilemmas, the most common problems that I receive through comments, through emails, in my live stream chats. Okay, people who relapse on NoFap and do not know how to stop. Now, understand that I have been there. Okay, even though I'm 9 months going strong on NoFap right now, I have relapsed in the past. Obviously, hence how I'm only on 9 months and not 21 years. Okay, I've relapsed before. I've been there. So I know what that feels like. I know what that guilt feels like. Okay, it can be overwhelming at times. The self-hatred, the negative self-talk, I've been there. And that's why I want to make this video. I want to help you guys out. Okay, I want to help you overcome your barriers, your internal barriers to your NoFap journey. Because like I said, I've been there and I know what it takes. I know that it really starts within. Okay, it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. Your mind determines just how far you will go on this NoFap journey, or if you will successfully be able to make that transition into making it a lifestyle, or even maybe going on retention. Okay, taking things to the next level, doing dopamine detoxes. It all starts in your mind. Now, the first thing that you need to do if you've relapsed on NoFap recently is you have to forgive yourself. Now, this one always throws people off. Okay, people feel like they need to give themselves tough love and things like that. But you have to understand this one thing about yourself. You are on your own team. Okay, you owe it to yourself to be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter, your biggest fan, whatever you want to call it. Okay, you need to be on your own team. If nobody else is going to build you up, you need to build yourself up. Now, obviously, I'm here to build you up, as are most of my other supporters. Okay, I have probably the most positive community on YouTube. But at the same time, none of that means anything if you're not receptive to people's support because you don't even support yourself. Okay, so you have to be willing to forgive yourself. And that starts with acknowledging what you've done. Okay, you have to acknowledge that, yes, I've relapsed. Now what? Okay, what can I do about the mistake that I've made? I can't go back and change it. Okay, I can't put it back into my body. I have to live with what I've done. And I have to accept what I've done. Because if I don't accept what I've done, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to perpetuate the thought cycles, the belief systems that made me relapse in the first place. Okay, the reason why you relapsed is because something in your mind enabled it to happen. Like I said, it all starts in the mind. Now, for some people, you might find that seeking therapy helps. Or maybe you find that having an accountability partner helps. Okay, if you don't have an accountability partner, literally just look in the comment section, because there are thousands, maybe even millions of people watching this video that have the same exact problem that you have. Okay, and you guys can help each other out. But first, you have to help yourself out. And like I said, that starts with forgiving yourself. Now, how do you forgive yourself? It's really not as complicated as you may think it is. It's literally a matter of making a decision, a conscious decision to be willing to forgive yourself. Even if you're still mad at yourself, even if you're still disappointed or ashamed of yourself, you still have to be willing to forgive yourself. You have to decide that I forgive myself for the mistake that I've made. Okay, that's called self-awareness, and that's called self-love. Okay, now once you forgive yourself, now you're starting to undo the programming, the internal and or external programming that made you relapse in the first place, which, like I said, a lot of that starts from negative talk cycles, negative self-talk cycles, negative thought patterns, belief systems. Maybe you relapsed in the past and you told yourself, man, I'm having so much trouble with this. I'm addicted. When you tell yourself that, what do you think is going to happen? If you tell yourself that you're an addict every single day, what do you think is going to happen? Logically speaking. Okay, your actions are going to reflect that. Your life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is why you have to forgive yourself. Now, once you forgive yourself, you can start to undo that programming. And once you start to undo that programming, you can see things with more clarity. Okay, now, once you develop that clarity, now you can start to retrace your steps. You can look back at all of the actions leading up to your relapse, and you can determine which action it was that ultimately led to your relapse. You see, with every single relapse, you made a decision. Okay, you made a series of decisions, but there was one decision that you made along your journey where you reached the point of no return. There was one decision. It could have been the decision to, I don't know, look at pornography, the decision to get on social media. It could have been the decision to look at magazines or whatever. But at some point along your journey, you made a decision where you reached the point of no return. Because once you made that decision, there was no going back. Okay, so you have to be conscious of that decision and also retrace your steps with previous relapses. Okay, forgive yourself for those relapses and retrace your steps for those relapses as well, because you can see all of the decisions that you made. And a lot of times it'll be the same decision over and over and over again that you're making that's causing you to relapse. Okay, so once you have that decision in your mind, once you understand it, like I said earlier, this is all just self-awareness. Okay, once you have that in your mind, in your internal storage facilities, the next time you come to a point where you have the option to make that decision, that same exact decision, make a different decision. Make a different choice. Okay, maybe you are about to go on Instagram and look at your favorite Instagram model, but instead of doing that, you decide, you know what, I'm gonna go for a walk outside without my phone. Okay, you have to rewire your mind. Now, this all comes down to self-love. Okay, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I see in the NoFap community is that NoFap is something that you do for the sake of self-love. Okay, a lot of people think that I need to reach 90 days on NoFap so that I can love myself. No, okay, that is not going to work. Because when you don't love yourself, you're not going to act in accordance with your self-love, because you don't love yourself. If that self-love isn't there, the action won't be there to reflect it, which is why you're going to keep relapsing. Like I said, you get caught in your own story, your own negative self-talk cycles, your own limiting belief systems about yourself. So you have to love yourself and do NoFap because you love yourself. Okay, and like I said earlier, that starts with forgiving yourself. When you forgive yourself, you are making a conscious decision to accept your mistakes, accept your failures or defeats. And once you accept those parts of yourself that you were previously unwilling to accept, or the parts of yourself that you believe that other people couldn't accept, now you truly love yourself. You love yourself unconditionally. You feel understood and appreciated. And because of that, now NoFap is natural. Why wouldn't you be on NoFap? Okay, it's just congruent with your self-perception. You love yourself, therefore you do NoFap. And you do NoFap, therefore you love yourself. It creates a positive cycle, a positive feedback loop. This is why me, 9 months into NoFap, living on my own, okay, nobody's watching me, nobody's monitoring me, I can do whatever I want. I still don't relapse. It doesn't even cross my mind because I love myself too much to do that. And every day I'm faced with that decision. Do I want to start my journey over today? And I just choose not to because I love myself. Okay, you have to program your mind to make that decision on autopilot, on the go. But it starts with making that decision consciously. You have to decide that, hey, I can relapse whenever I want. Okay, this is easily accessible to me. But I choose not to because I love myself. And because I love myself, I will continue to build up this NoFap streak until it turns into a lifestyle, until I'm not even thinking about the days anymore, until it feels natural to me. And once I reach that point, I'm good. I'm good. Now, obviously, you don't want to let your guard down and go back to the things that caused you to relapse in the first place. But like I said, it ultimately starts in your mind. Okay, you can only go as far on this journey as your mind can take you, or as your mind will allow you to. You have to remove those limiting belief systems. You have to remove the negative self-talk. And that starts with self-forgiveness.